Sometimes not everything has a clear explanation, and sometimes everything is too visible to be explained away. Dancing Plague of 1518. In the summer of 1518, something fractured in the streets of Strasbourg. A woman began to dance on the stone pavement. There was no festival, no music. Days passed and she kept dancing. Then others joined her. Within weeks, hundreds were pulled into the same arrhythmic, relentless motion. Some collapsed, some reportedly died of heart failure. Authorities hired musicians. If they were dancing, they reasoned, perhaps they could dance themselves back to health. Was it poisoning, a hallucinogenic fungus on rye, or the collective unraveling of a society crushed beneath famine, disease, and religious fear? That summer in Strasbourg, perhaps it was not bodies that danced. Perhaps it was fear itself. Tanganyika laughter epidemic. In 1962, at a boarding school for girls in East Africa, 3 students began to laugh. At first, it was light. Then it became uncontrollable. Laughter fits lasted for hours. Soon came crying spells, panic attacks, fainting. The school closed, but the symptoms spread to other schools. Hundreds of students were affected. The episode lasted months. No virus was found, no toxin detected. In a newly independent nation, young people were under immense pressure. Discipline, expectation, rapid change. Perhaps the laughter was stress erupting through the only open door. But why was it so contagious? Tarantism, medieval Italy. For centuries in southern Italy, people suddenly began trembling and dancing. It was widely believed they had been bitten by a tarantula. The strangest detail, when fast-paced music was played, symptoms often eased. Patients danced for days, sweating, whirling, until they were said to be cured. Was there truly a venomous spider, or did a story so deeply believed become a physical reality? Can belief sometimes outweigh biology? Junebug epidemic. At a textile factory in the United States, women suddenly experienced nausea and dizziness. A rumor spread quickly. A poisonous insect was biting workers. Some were hospitalized. The factory was tested, air samples analyzed, insects examined. No toxin was found. Yet, panic moved like a shadow with legs. When one worker collapsed, others followed within minutes. The rumor functioned like a virus. An invisible threat produced visible consequences. Kosovo student poisoning allegations. In 1990, hundreds of students in Kosovo experienced dizziness and nausea simultaneously. Claims of a poisonous gas attack ignited political turmoil. Tensions were already high. International teams investigated. No concrete chemical evidence was found. Reports pointed toward mass psychogenic illness. But in a society living in crisis, perceived threat was already elevated. Could fear itself have produced physiological symptoms? And if so, how powerful was that fear? West Bank fainting epidemic. In 1983, hundreds of teenage girls in the West Bank were rushed to hospitals with shortness of breath and fainting spells. Rumors of toxic gas spread rapidly. Investigations found no definitive toxin. What stood out was the speed of transmission, from one school to the next, from one neighborhood to the next. Was it an attack or a psychological chain reaction forged from social stress, political pressure, and rumor? Leroy, mass psychogenic illness. In 2011, in a small town in New York State, high school girls began developing sudden tics and involuntary movements. Speech faltered, muscles contracted uncontrollably. Neurological tests were conducted, environmental toxins were investigated. No clear biological cause emerged. Experts classified it as mass psychogenic disorder. Yet, as media attention intensified, the number of reported cases grew. Could attention itself amplify symptoms? These 7 events occurred across different continents and centuries, yet a common thread runs through them. The symptoms were real. People were not pretending. They felt pain, they fainted, they trembled, and often the laboratories were silent. Science attempts to explain these episodes through the concept of mass psychogenic illness. Intense stress, fear, and social contagion can trigger cascading biological responses. When the brain perceives threat, the body mobilizes. But one question remains mesmerizing. If an idea, a rumor, or a fear can produce the same physical reaction in hundreds of bodies, where do the boundaries of the human mind truly begin and end? Sometimes the mystery is not a virus. Sometimes the mystery is us.